Good evening, Epiphany Lutheran Church and friends.
Good evening, St. John Lutheran Church and friends.
Welcome to Friday Night Fun Night. We're just kind of getting back in the swing of things after being gone for 10 days or so. So not a full fun night for you, but a partial fun night for you. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'll get started a little bit here. Reason why I'm wearing the hat I am today is because for me as a native Southern Californian and lifelong Dodger fan, it's a sad day in the baseball world. Tommy Lasorda died at the age of 93 today, and I was just thinking about, a couple things that kind of hit me about Tommy Lasorda as we were watching a little bit on the news tonight with the tribute to Tommy Lasorda and all that he did for baseball. The two things that kind of came to mind for me about Tommy Lasorda to be able to share with you. One is, and I don't know the full story. I should have contacted my buddy. But one of the things that when my best friend and who Mary and I have been very close to is my friend David back in California. When his middle son was having some real severe health problems, one of the things that Dylan wanted was a chance to be able to meet with Tommy Lasorda, and he got a chance of being able to meet Tommy Lasorda, because that's the sort of guy Tommy Lasorda was. He wasn't just an ambassador for the game, but he was a caring person, and he just cared about people, and that showed in what he did. And so I thought about that. But my one memory of Tommy Lasorda came when we had gone up to Wrigley Field to go see a Chicago Cubs and LA Dodger game, thanks to my wonderful wife who got us tickets to be able to go to a Cubs Dodger game. And when we were up there, I think also thanks to some good friends, John and Joni, I think got us those tickets, if I recall.
Well, they gave us tickets several times to go, yeah.
But when we were there, Tommy Lasorda, if you know the tradition at Wrigley Field, is ever since Harry Carey died, Harry Carey would always lead them in the seventh inning stretch, and so they would always get someone to do it. So the night we were there, Tommy Lasorda got to lead the seventh inning stretch. And what I will remember more than anything is Tommy Lasorda standing up there, and before he led them and take me out to the ball game, he said, "It's great to be here in Wrigley Field with the second best baseball fans in the country." So as we heard the entire stadium, except for maybe me quietly cheering, this entire stadium booing Tommy Lasorda for that comment. But that's what I will remember of Tommy Lasorda.
He was a great manager.
So,
and even if you weren't a Dodgers fan, you had to love his enthusiasm for baseball.
Yeah,
it was great.
Enthusiasm for anything, if you ever saw him.
But he really loved baseball, because we saw a little thing on NBC tonight about, he was like, he said he loved every moment working with the Dodgers. So that tells you a lot about him and his love for baseball. So he starts the 2021 baseball team. We've had lost four greats in 2020, and he now starts the rest of the baseball for 2021.
But anyway, and happy Epiphany, folks! For we celebrated Epiphany here 2 days ago, and yesterday actually was Christmas. I don't know if you knew that, but in the Eastern Orthodox traditions, yesterday was Christmas. So, we celebrated Epiphany, and so anyway, I ended up.
Well, not yesterday, Wednesday.
But Wednesday was Epiphany.
Yeah.
So it was the end of the 12 days of Christmas. So as I would like to tell everyone, in us as Lutherans and Episcopalians and Roman Catholics as well, Christmas is not just one day, it's 12 days. It's not the 12 days before Christmas. It begins on Christmas and goes for 12 days. So we got to say Merry Christmas to one another until Wednesday, where we got to say Happy Epiphany to one another. And if you were in Latin America, it would be the day that you'd actually get the gifts. The Day of the Three Kings is the day that you give the gifts.
Yeah.
So...
Or the Three Kings.
The Three Kings, which is a good thing Christopher didn't know, because he's already planning out his Christmas list for next year.
So, of course he is.
But, of course, this is also the same son who I caught making a list of the songs he's going to be singing for the talent show in upcoming years. I think he's got it through 2096 now.
So we told him we're not going to be here, and he's more likely not going to be here.
He's not understanding that one right now, but he's still got his list of. He's got his list.
I told him we'd be with Jesus in heaven. He knows we talk about being in heaven with God. So.
But he does. He has a list of songs for his talent show singing, starting next year and going clear until at least 2096. I saw all the pages. So, but
as Michael Strahan said today, and I put it on my Facebook page, what a year this week has been already. Yeah. So, a lot going on. You had something to share.
Well, and and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. It's I looked up a whole bunch of things on the traditions of Epiphany and of the wise men, the magi. That's the word that's actually there in Matthew. It says magi, which interestingly enough is where we get the word magic from, or magician from. These were astrologers from the east somewhere. We don't know how many there were. It was interesting that a lot of Eastern traditions say that there were 12 magi that came. The Western traditions ended up putting 3. Names don't come up for years, centuries later do we have these names. But interestingly enough, a tradition that I know that I brought to Epiphany that I hadn't heard of until I got to Epiphany, actually. But one tradition, you can still do it. We didn't do it this year with how different Epiphany was and maybe talking about that tradition is really good. We have these names for the magi: Casper, Melchior, and Balthazar. Traditions built on where they came from. One from Africa, one from Arabia, one from India. But those ideas of those names of Casper, Melchior, and Balthazar turned into a tradition that you can do at the beginning of the year, that we've done with our house. We started doing when we were at Epiphany, is that you can take some chalk and on your door you can write down, and what you do is in the middle you put the C, M, and B, and then you put crosses on each side to symbolize Christ, and then the year is done on both sides. So the 20 would be on one side and the 20 and the 21 on the other side. But the CMB stands for more than Casper, Melchior, and Balthazar. It also becomes part of a phrase for that is used, that comes from Latin, which is Christe mansionem benedictum. Christ bless this house. And with everything of this past week that we've been going through as a country, especially the events of the last couple of days, to say Christ bless this house, and Christ bless the house, not just the house of your own personal house, but the house of the church and the house of our country. Maybe to say Christ bless this house is something that we all need to be saying and we all need to be doing. So.
Yeah, we were really looking forward to having a fun night, but it's really hard too this week. I'm feeling okay. I had a colonoscopy today and everything went well. I had one polyp, but it was small, and it'll be sent to the pathologist, but I'm not worried about it. So I had that today, but right before I got on, I was really pretty heartbroken. It's been really, really tough. It's been a really tough week. It's been hard, just seeing people going after each other and not thinking about what they're saying, and just it just seems like politics have gotten uglier and uglier, and people have gotten more divided. And this is my 25th year serving as a pastor, and I've just never seen anything so divisive. And it's really a member of the congregation just put up that they're really struggling, whether they haven't been able to come because of health things, but they're questioning whether to stay a part of St. John, because people they know from St. John are being so ugly and so gloating on Facebook that they are just don't know what to think. And It really breaks my heart. This is tough, and people just throw things at each other, and they accuse groups of people of being one way. When, as I wrote in my note, if you've not seen it, is that all of us love people who are different from us. Whatever party affiliation you may have or not have affiliation, somebody you love, whether they've told you or not, does not see the world the way you do. And when we throw out carelessly, in my opinion, calling a whole group of people something ugly and awful online and think it's okay, that is, to me, is not what the faith is about. I just shared something from a pastor friend of ours, Mike Bovingdon.
And we about to pull up the same thing, actually.
Who wrote about the anger and the pain of this week, and about that our faith calls us to pray for our enemies, whoever they may be, to pray to forgive them, to love them. And that is, to me, some of the hardest things we have to do as Christians. And I really think sometimes we mix up our Christianity with our politics to the point that we can miss what Jesus is saying. And I know that may make some people angry, but I'm just done acting like stuff is okay. I'm done acting like everything that it's just okay to slander people online and be ugly and be mean. I'll be honest, I've unfriended some people, I'm snoozing some people, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going to ignore it, but it's not okay. It's just not okay. And our faith calls us to be better than this. And I know, and I love the people of St. John, and none of us are perfect, and we're all sinners. And yes, I know I'm getting on the pulpit right now preaching, but here's the thing. To know a member who I know is a caring person and is questioning whether to come back to the church is heartbreaking to me. Now, yes, some people have left. They've not told me they've left. They've left because we haven't opened the building, because they want a choice. But you know what? We've had 2 members die. COVID is the worst in Upson and Pike County, 2 of our counties. Highest rates in Georgia right now. So I have to think, and the COVID team and the council, we all have to think about what's best for everyone. And so many of you have hung in there and been a part of the church we've done, and I'm sorry. I mean, I wish it was different. I wish we were in church together, but I cannot in good conscience do that. And we've made a decision after listening to the bishop and listening to the doctors that are advising the bishop by going to a meeting in December, that we are going to be online for January and February. And our team made a tough decision this week that we are not going to do any drive-by communion for the month of January. And that grieves me. It grieves me. And it's very hard to do that. But we feel that for the safety of all, we have a lot of older members. We have a lot of people who, as Linda shared with her and Bob, they don't know how they got COVID. We would not want to be the reason anybody would get it. And we just have to think about everybody. And I know some of you are mad about it. I know some of you are probably mad at me. And I'm okay with that. Because in my heart, I believe what we're doing is the right thing. We're really trying to look out for everybody. And we're still the church. And I keep reminding people, I think if I've learned anything this last year, it's that as much as you love a church building, the church is not the building. If our building was hit by lightning and burned down today, we would still be St. John Lutheran Church. We would still be the people God called us to be in Griffin, Georgia. So I know that our churches are doing different things, but we talked long and hard about it, looked at numbers, looked at what's going on. There's no beds in the area. Some of you may or may not have seen that Alan Tuffarella's son, Jason, is in the hospital. He's very ill with COVID and pneumonia. He is sedated. Alan and his ex-wife got to be with him last night, but they cannot be with him now at all. He will be sedated this whole weekend in Spalding. Some of you also know that George Sackmar's daughter, Kim, waited for 2 days to find a bed somewhere in Georgia with COVID. So this is serious stuff. And we are in a very tough time. And I think it shows a lot about who we are as the church. If we are willing to hang in there with each other, to love each other, to forgive each other, and to think about what we put up and what we say online. Because while I love being connected with people on Facebook, it's become too easy, in my opinion, to not talk directly to somebody and just to put things out there that are ugly. And I just want people to think about it. And if you're not doing it, I'm not talking to you. You don't have to worry, Because like I told this person, I think most of the people at St. John are caring, loving people, whatever their viewpoints are. I just want those of you who might think it's okay to put stuff out there and be ugly and do that kind of stuff, think about who you might be hurting in the process of what you're saying. And maybe have some direct conversations instead of just putting it out on whatever pages you're on online. So I say that in love, but my heart is hurting because it's hard to see somebody hurting because people are being so ugly online.
Speaking of online, the words that Mary was talking about from Mike Bovingdon, I wanted to be able to share with you because I think they're really important in these times. Our good friend Mike, pastor over in Douglasville, said, "If I am honest with myself, I have to admit, today I am angry. I feel hatred building in me for those who attacked our Capitol. I become more angry seeing them wear shirts saying 6MWE, 6 million was not enough, Camp Auschwitz, and carrying flags proclaiming Jesus, supporting their violence. I am maddened that their actions caused the death of 4 people, including one policeman who was doing his job, trying to serve people and provide for his family. There is a big part of me that wished Jesus had never said to love our enemy. Somewhere in the darkness of my heart, I desire an eye for an eye. So what do? I will remember who I am. I am being reminded of these words from James. Know this, my beloved, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for anger does not produce the righteousness of God. I will pray for our country. I will pray for those I believe are enemies. I will pray for the families of those who died. I will pray for myself that somehow I can move beyond anger to become one who binds together and does not break apart." And then he quotes this prayer of St. Francis. "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life." So, thank you, Mike Bovington, for sharing that. I give you those words. We need to be in prayer for all those that are out there.
I want to say thank you for the prayers from my cousin Vince that I put up, who's on the Capitol Police. He had shared a note that he'd gotten home that night, and he asked for prayers for the gentleman who served for 12 years on the Capitol Police, who lost his life doing his job. This has been, as we said, a very, very rough week. Sam and I were honored to be able to serve as poll workers this week, and as I said in my note, everyone I've ever worked with, and I've worked with a number of elections in Illinois, and this is my second in Georgia, no matter what party they are there committed to making sure that everyone who is supposed to be able to vote gets the chance to vote. And I've never seen anything done wrong. And we do this because we care about the country we live in, and we want to make a difference so that there's an opportunity for people to be able to freely vote. I shared a story. Some of you read it, some of you didn't. I just want to share it for a moment. Many of you saw that my Aunt Betty died on Sunday. That was really difficult. She has suffered for the last 4 years after she had a moderate stroke the month before her 90th birthday. She'd been living on her own, driving her own car, volunteering everywhere, lived a full life up till that month, and then could no longer live on her own. She'd been suffering for quite a while, and got COVID, went to the hospital last Saturday night, hasn't even been a week yet, and died last Sunday. I was able to, because her son Mark is a chaplain at the hospital, and her granddaughter Caroline, named after her, followed in her footsteps, becoming a nurse was working there, they were able to call us, and we were able to say goodbye. Samuel, bless you. Yeah, we'll sing in just a minute. No, we'll sing. No, it would be good to have a song.
We need a song.
We need some hope.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me just finish real quick. So anyway, the story that I told was my brother Tim had got to go. We left on Monday, but we got to say goodbye to my aunt on Sunday, and she died peacefully Sunday night, which I'm very, very grateful for. But my brother Tim stayed a few extra days, got to go to dinner with my cousin Mark. And my cousin Mark shared a story that neither one of us had ever heard before. And I share this as part of what I was saying before. My grandfather was a very strong Democrat, very involved in local politics, served for over 30 years as a commissioner in the area. He was a farmer full time, but his great love was politics. He had 3 daughters and a son. When my Aunt Betty, his second daughter, married my Uncle Tony, my grandpa, Fred, knew that Uncle Tony was Republican. Now, this was the 1940s, so please remember that, and not compare it to a woman getting married today. But my grandfather said to my Aunt Betty, Betty, for your marriage to go well, I suggest you become a Republican like your husband. Tim and I know that, and my cousin Mark also knew, how difficult that must have been for my grandfather to say to my Aunt Betty. But he loved her then, and he loved her all of his life. And I say that story to tell you, and I loved my Aunt Betty, and we were deeply, deeply close. She was a mentor and more than an aunt to me. And she believed in me when nobody else believed in me, and she reminded me of the strength of which I came from. And she really made a huge difference in my life. But we didn't always agree on everything, but we loved each other, and we talked honestly with each other. We prayed for each other. We held a family, faith, friends, following our faith in life and being a good citizen. And I say that, as I said earlier, because all of us love people who don't see the world the way we do, but we still love them. And some of them we love with all of our hearts. So I'm just begging those of you who might be struggling or have family or friends maybe who need to hear a word, to remind them, please, that we don't have to agree on everything to love each other. And we don't have to agree on it all. We can find ways to disagree to agree to disagree with each other. It's just, if everybody was in such a hurry to get to 2021, boy, I hope this is not any indication of what 2021 is going to be like, but we'll just have to wait and see. So we're looking for some hope tonight, and the light that comes in, the light of the Christ child, the Epiphany, is what I hold on to even in the toughest and darkest of moments of life. So Sam is going to come. Come on, Sam, and he's going to play songs.
Close with the song tonight.
To lift us up with some hope. So,
we need to close with the song.
Shine, Jesus, shine.
Yeah, we're going to be singing Shine, Jesus, Shine tonight. I hope that you guys all enjoy it. And just, again, as I usually say, if you guys have any songs that you guys would like to suggest, just leave it in the comments, and I'll look for it so that I can play it for you guys.
And we'll try to see if we can get Christopher down here to sing a non-Christmas song in the next week or two. So.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Lord, the light of your love is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father.
another one.
Yeah, I keep on, sorry.
You want to do, I know.
Why don't we do the chorus one more time?
Yeah.
How's that
All
sound?
right,
I think we do the chorus one more
And
time.
we'll practice it a little bit more because Epiphany
Sorry.
lasts for about 6 weeks, so we'll do it
Sorry.
again.
That's all right.
I only had a
We're
little
good.
practice.
We're good. We're good. We're all
We'll
good.
practice
We're
it
all
this
good.
weekend, and
We're all good.
we'll practice
Come
what
on,
we're going to say
come on,
next
chorus,
week.
one more time.
All right.
I
We're
already
gonna
feel
close
better
it up.
singing. I already feel better.
Thank you. All right.
Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. See, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter if you can't find the tune. As long as you can sing the song, that's the key.
And I think the words are really important because as tough as it feels tonight, for at least to me, that song gives me a lot of hope. Asking Jesus to fill our lands, the world, because God so loved the world that God will fill us with grace and mercy. And so that's what we pray for,
Yes.
is grace and mercy.
Yes.
So I already shared, so you will, if you get our emails, if you'd like to get our newsletter, please let me know. I'll put you on so you can get our bulletin. Service is on for us at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll be posted on our Facebook page, and we'll be shared on YouTube in the next day or so after. But we will be back to having Zoom coffee hour at noon. When we go back to having communion together, which hopefully it might be in February, and we might have to do it differently. And by that I mean we'll talk about it, but there may be some other safer ways to do it that would allow us to come back to having communion together. Or by cars is what I mean. But for now, we're going to have Zoom coffee hour at noon, at least for the month of January. We hope to keep a coffee hour going. We may switch the times on Sunday or another day. We're also working on trying to get a Bible study together online, some kids' time together online. I hope to do a book group online, so I'll be working on that this next week. I've got different people to lead different things, and we will be working on times and getting information out to everybody. Also, don't forget, Andy still has the Tuesday and Thursday groups online. I believe they're at 3:30. We'll send the information out about that again to remind people in case you want to join up with that, with either of those groups this new year. It's a good time to take on something new in your life. We will come back with devotions on Tuesday through Thursday, and I hope and pray that next week will be a much more joyful and jokey.
We'll have jokes,
Friday
useless
night.
information, and crazy hats.
That's right, and I'll wear
And
a
we'll
hat.
and if either one of us are in a bad mood, we'll just start with singing, and maybe that'll get us all better.
Yeah, because the music helps. The music helps.
Yeah, and for Epiphany folk, for the time being anyway, we will continue with the drive-in service at 11 o'clock, followed by drive-through communion. So that's for the time being. Just know that will be going on. Keep in prayers. I know Kathy Norton has asked for prayers for a good friend of her nephews, Jim Stewart, who's been diagnosed with COVID. Want to keep in prayer, especially the Schleter family, who have all been dealing with COVID as well this past week. I know Lane Carlisle has been dealing with it as well. We continue to be affected by it. So just with all these prayers. So just we lift them all up. So
We pray that all of you are being safe. There is news that, we expect that there will be a long line, and I will share it on our church Facebook page just for the good of people. There is going to be a vaccine available this coming week. I think it's in Hampton. It may be, I don't know if it's at the Raceway or not, but anyway, some information was just sent out about that for seniors who might want to be getting the shot, and so we will share that information, but it's no reservation, so I don't know what the lines will be like. And you may have another connection with your county health department. So I know a few have, I think, are getting the shot or have gotten the shot, the first shot. So just do your best. Whether you're in a high bracket or not, please be aware of other people. Please think about them. There's just simple things we can do to watch out for each other, keeping our distance, wearing our masks. Let's just love our neighbor as ourselves, and let's look out for each other and care for each other.
Okay. May the Lord bless you and keep you.
May the Lord watch over you, make his face shine upon you,
May the Lord look upon you with favor.
and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thanks you all. Hang in there.
Thank
Love you. Good
You
night.
too.